Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and streaming on YouTube.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. I'm CJ Baumgartner. That's Zeke Fuhrman. It is the Morning Sports Desk. No Corey today. Zeke once again filling in, but it is a big reason why, Zeke, because of state cross country, some stuff he did on Saturday covering the local athletes and a bunch of achievements that we're going to talk about in 1 second. First, we need to talk about the great folks at Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. We are now into November, which of course means that it is a Veterans Day month. And as a thank you, they want veterans to eat free on Tuesday, November 11th. The Wadena Pizza Ranch appreciates the sacrifices and dedications of our veterans and current military personnel. And to honor their service, they're offering an exclusive Veterans Day buffet special. All veterans and current military personnel will get a free buffet on Tuesday, November 11th during the regular buffet hours, valid at the participating locations. And they look forward to seeing you at the legendary buffet. And it's only at the Pizza Ranch location, only on Tuesday, November 11th, but a great way to shout out the veterans during this month of November, coming up with Veterans Day on November 11th. So just a great shout out. Many of the great things that they do at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. They have the great pizza. The FunZone Arcade is great, but they also make sure to take care of the veterans. They also make sure just to take care of the community and be there and provide some of those great deals. Obviously, kids eat free on Tuesdays, and there's some other things where they just look out to try and make things easier on just regular, everyday people and our veterans. And it's an awesome gesture by the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. Veterans eat free on Tuesday, November 11th for the buffet during regular buffet hours. The Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena, proud sponsors of the Morning Sports Desk. All right, Zeke, as we hop in and do our state cross-country coverage, the final year, it was on the University of Minnesota Twin Cities campus on the Bolstead Golf Course. Did they do anything for that? Any kind of special presentation, or was it just kind of, hey, full steam ahead?
It was kind of full steam ahead. You know, they got the race started right at 10 o'clock, and a lot of people at state cross country this year. I mean, that course was packed. I think I had 12,000 steps before like 11 o'clock that day, just going back and forth and battling the crowds and trying to see who's in the lead. And it was some fantastic races starting in Class A boys. Bertha Hewitt down at state once again this season. They placed, let's see, I got to refresh my memory here for the boys. Bertha Hewitt was 6th overall with 171 points. Wadena Deer Creek finished 10th with 240. They beat the Holly Nuggets. They had 255. Park Rapids area was 15th as a team. They had 317. Lewiston Altura, Rushford Peterson, I forget what the H is in LARPH. They won it with 67 points. Cotter Hope, 97 points. Kind of interesting story there is Cotter Hope, the guys, they had 3 runners. Eric Semling, back-to-back state champion now. Ryan Littlefield and Kellen Grohl took first, second, and third place. And then they finished second as a team. Owen Winter, DGF was 4th overall. Logan Wehoff, Sock Center, was 5th overall. Brady Rock, Bertha Hewitt was 8th overall. Who else we got here? Peter Newark, 18th overall. Top 25 guys are named to the All-State team. So those guys all getting All-State in the boys race. And it was a fast competitive race. I mean, blink and all the guys you're looking for in that pack are gone. So that was a fun one.
Yeah. I mean, any surprises, Zeke? Anything that kind of caught your attention in that Class A race? You're like, oh, I did not expect that to happen.
I was hoping Corey would be on here today because his alma mater, Sibley East, at state cross country, the first time ever, they took 16th place.
Oh,
somebody's got to, but I was going to.
Somebody's got to.
Yeah.
Been a rough fall for the Tackman alma mater.
It has. Yeah. Yeah. But hey, they were there. They're one of the best 16 teams in the state. So congrats to them for getting there for the first time ever, I think is what Corey said.
Yeah, no, it's a really cool thing to see a team make it there for the first time. And of course, to see our local teams out there running and things like that. So, what's kind of your takeaway? Any other takeaways from the Class A boys race? What we got you here?
I think that was about it. WDC 10th place. I think that's their best finish ever. Grant Nelson finished 60th overall, 17 minutes, 8.1 seconds in his final race. Brennan Simmons, the second guy in for WDC, 1724. Lane Kaufman, Owen Anderson right there, 84th and 88th place. Noah Stroing, the fifth runner in for WDC, 1735. So little more than 30 seconds spread between 1 and 5 for WDC. I think 32 seconds spread there. Jack Mitness of Park Rapids area took 36th place overall. Who else we got here? Nolan Rock was 42nd. He's the 8th grader. Gunnar Bartle, Bertha Hewitt was 44th. Henry Lockwood, 81st. Vance Lockwood, the 5th guy in for Bertha at 114. But these numbers are just going to improve because a lot of those guys will be back at state, if not as a team, then individually next season. So a lot of these guys were there last year. You look at Peter Newark was there last year. The Aho boy, senior from UNC. I forget his first name. He was at state last year. He finished. Let me see. It's a lot of numbers to remember here. Let's see. For the boys. Jack Mitness, 36th. Drew Aho, sorry, Drew. He was 48th this season, this year, 16:59. So he eclipsed that 17-minute mark, but it's over 1,000 runners over 6 races on Saturday between Class A and Class 3A to try and keep track of.
Yeah, a lot of things going on. It was a fun Class A race, and appreciated the coverage there. And let's talk about the girls' race. What happened there? What are the things we need to know?
Yeah, fun battle at the top between Audrey Burnell, Staples Motley, defending state champion, and Margaret Duffy of St. John's Prep. I mean, these two have had kind of a fun rivalry for the last couple of years. Margaret Duffy beat Audrey in Moorhead, and so they're kind of going back and forth. They battle in track too. I think Margaret beat Audrey in the 2 mile at state track last year, and the 2 mile is kind of that last championship that Audrey needs to kind of have a state championship and all of them. And they were neck and neck for a good chunk of the race, keeping track on the app. They were within half a second of each other through 2 mile, and then there's one last final hill that you go up and then come down to head into the chute, and that's when Margaret picked up steam and pulled away from Audrey right at the end of a 5 or 6 second victory for Margaret Duffy, who won the race. Audrey was second in her final state race. Kendra Miller, Bertha Hewitt finished 26th in her return to the state meet. She ran as a freshman, missed it last year, back this season, so she missed all state by 1 place. She finished 1935. Miette Hansel of Bertha Hewitt, the senior, she was 60th. She finished 2020. Nori Song of Minnewaska area, 44th. Park Rapids freshman Greta Galski, 51st individually. But you look at the top, 6A champion Newland and Spicer, state champions. They actually tied St. Cloud Cathedral, the defending state champ, with 97 points. It all comes down to, I think, the 6th runner. And I'm pretty sure it's the 6th runner. And Newland and Spicer, I think, beat the St. Cloud Cathedral runner by like 6 spots. And so that was the ultimate tiebreaker for Newland and Spicer to knock off the Crusaders for the state championship this year.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff happening in that one. Zeke, what do we got to know for the other races that went on, just state cross country as a whole? Any other news and notes that somebody on Monday who wants to catch things up needs to know?
Yeah, real quick, back to girls real quick. United North Central finished 8th overall. WDC was 11th with 231. The Barnesville Trojans, a team to watch out for the upcoming couple years. They've got 2 freshmen on their team, and the rest are 7th and 8th graders. They took 5th place with 176. So they were kind of the standout area-wise. Crosby Ironton, their first ever trip to state for girls cross country, they finished in 15th place. Then looking at the Class 2A race and some really good races and some kind of heartbreaking ones. The Perham Yellow Jackets still looking for that Class 2A championship. The boys and the girls both runners up in Class 2A. on Saturday. St. Paul Como Park won it for the boys with 75 points. Perham had 89 points for the girls. Minneapolis Southwest had 38 points, which is ridiculous in the state meet. 2, 5, 7, 8, 16. And then Perham had 52 points in second place. And in a lot of meets, 52nd place is going to win a lot of meets. But so Perham comes back next year. Connor Maleka, Detroit Lakes, finishes, I think he was 7th overall. Another fun battle to watch in Class 2A has been Connor Maleka and Matt Jorgensen of Perham. They've been right there every single meet they've been in. I think Maleka's won a good chunk of them, but Jorgensen got the last laugh. He's a senior, so it'll be their last race in cross country. He edges out Maleka by half a second. So Jorgensen was 6th, Maleka was 7th. In the Class 2A race.
It's insane how much a lot of these come down to those photo finishes. And I know we talked about it in the section race earlier for, like Brainerd and Alexandria and things like that, of how close some of those points get. It's fascinating that it can all come down to some of that stuff. Zeke, if people want to get more coverage on the state cross country races, where can they go to find it?
Yeah, WadenaRadio.com or follow Sports Cow on Facebook. I've got Class A and Class 2A results for overall, and then local standings and stuff too. Class 2A boys, Brody Freeland Perham finished 10th overall, so he had a top 10 finish. Mentioned Matt Jorgensen was 6th overall, and yeah, that info is all up online. Moo.
All right, awesome. And looking at some of the other things that as we finish up our coverage of the fall sports season, you covered state cross country. Unfortunately, none of our local teams made it down to the state tournament. Bertha Hewitt on Thursday evening had their season come to an end against Cromwell Wright area. Fun game. Bertha Hewitt had their punches here and there, but Cromwell Wright area just proved to have a couple more athletes, made a couple more plays, and caps off a great year for Bertha Hewitt football, their best in 16 years. So congratulations to Coach Jared Humberg and company. Going to Friday, I know, Zeke, we were at the Fargo Dome for Parker's Prairie versus Breckenridge, and that was another one where the Panthers had their punches. They got a few to land. They were right with Breckenridge, but the Cowboys just were able to make a few more plays over the course of the game. Then Parker's Prairie was able to. Breckenridge gets a 29-14 win, and they advance to go to the state tournament for the first time since 2022. It will not be a three-peat in Section 6A for the Parker's Prairie Panthers, but still a great season for them. 3 straight years of making it to the Fargo Dome. And got to be honest, we could probably see both these two teams back there again next season, the way that that section could shake out. There's a lot of great teams in that section, but those two have kind of proven to be the class over the last half decade here. And then flipping things over on the volleyball side, Parker's Prairie coming up short in the Section 6A volleyball match against Belgrade Bruton-El Rosa, 3-0. And Wadena Deer Creek against Holly, getting to the championship game, taking on the team that took them out a year ago. Holly won the first set. Then Wadena Deer Creek had a 20-17 lead in the second set, thinking, okay, you're going to take set 2 and hey, match on. Here we go. And then Holly took a timeout. Coming out of the timeout, they went on a 9-4 run and ended up winning the set 26-24. And not that Wadena Deer Creek gave up, and I'm not implying that at all, but when you get down like that after a match like that, after
against a team like that,
it kind of takes the air out of the balloon. And they fought hard and they tried to come back and do their stuff, but Holly ends up winning in straight sets. And you just kind of feel it like that was it's the heavyweight match where you try and throw the punch and it misses, and now all of a sudden it's like you're just like, like we're not in a good spot, and it's really hard to come back from. And that Holly team, of course, I haven't seen the brackets come out yet, Zeke, but as we take a look at our kind of early views of the state football and volleyball brackets in Class A, what do we need to know?
Yeah, we got both brackets up online, WadenaRadio.com. The state football bracket was released Saturday. State volleyball was released yesterday. Looking at volleyball, 5A champion Nevis. They're the 7 seed. They're going to take on 2 seed Russell Tyler Ruthden, 7:00 at the Grand Casino Arena. I almost said the other one. I almost said the X. You know what I'm talking about. All the matches are going to be at the place where
it's the X for all intents.
Yeah, the place where Minnesota Wild hockey plays. That's where all this is happening.
The arena in St. Paul.
There you go. The arena in St. Paul. Top seeded Mayor Lutheran, defending state champions. They're back again. I think 3 of the 4 defending state champions back. The only one that's not back is Alexandria in 3A because they moved up to 4A. But they still got to the 8-4A championship. They lost to Sartell 3-1, I think, over the weekend. In 2A, Hawley, of course, the top seed. They're going to face New London Spicer Thursday, 1 o'clock in that one. And I think those may be really the only 2 teams because Minnewaska area, they got upset by Albany.
Albany is good in everything.
Exactly. They're taking on Howard Lake Waverly Winstead on Thursday. Yeah, Hawley is there. Nevis is there. Belgrade Brute Rosa is there. If we want to claim Ada Borup West, they're there too. But that's pretty much all there is for out here in greater Minnesota area.
Yeah, a lot of things happening there. Let's take a look at the state football bracket. Zeke, what do we need to know starting off in Class 9, man? I know we don't have any local teams there, but of course, the team that knocked out Bertha Hewitt and Cromwell Wright area gets the 3 seed in the North. They
do. They'll take on Friddle Beltrami, the Falcons, a mainstay at the state tournament. You got Hillcrest Lutheran.
Champions, I believe.
I believe so, yes. Yeah, Hillcrest Lutheran on Fergus Falls. They're the 2 seed in the South, which is weird that Fergus Falls is a South team. But hey,
that whole section is South. But I guess because it's teams like Hancock and some of the other teams that you would technically consider in that southern region. But yes, Fergus Falls being a North team or South team is kind of weird.
Yep. So those games are all Thursday. Grand Rapids, Moorhead, Southwest Minnesota State, Buffalo. The places for those. Looking in Class A, Breckenridge Cowboys get the number 1 seed. They take on Barnum and Morris. Another tasty matchup, Mahnomen-Waban versus Upsala-Swanville area, getting to go all the way down to Becker to play that one on Friday. Defending state champion Minneota takes on Lester Prairie. In Class 2A, tasty matchup in Barnesville, Holdingford versus, not in Barnesville, in Brainerd. In Brainerd, Holdingford, the number 1 seed in the North, taking on Barnesville, 7 o'clock on Friday. I may go to Brainerd to watch that game.
Yeah, that should be a fun one.
That'll be fun. Jackson County Central versus Caledonia. Let's see, Eden Valley Watkins. I would love to see in state tournament semifinals, Eden Valley Watkins versus Holdingford, because forever, both of those teams in Section 5A, Holdingford could never get past Eden Valley Watkins. And we have a potential meeting at US Bank Stadium.
Their paths would cross again. Yeah.
Oh, you can't write it better than this. Yeah. So,
and then the winner will have to likely take on the defending state champion, Jackson County Central, with the number 1 player in the state, in Roman Voss. Yeah.
Holdingford is the 1 in the North. Eden Valley Watkins is the 2. So that could be cool. Looking in 3A, the Piers Pioneers with a huge upset win over Pequot Lakes, shut them out 35-0. They get DGF in Alexandria on Friday night. And then let's see, Fergus Falls in 4A, they knock off defending state champion Becker. They're the 2 seed. They'll take on Orono in Alexandria on Thursday. Let's see, Alexandria also in the state tournament, 5A champions. They schlacked Bemidji on Friday night. They're the 2 seed. They get Spring Lake Park in Monticello on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. A lot of stuff happening as we get to the state football tournament, the state volleyball tournaments. We wrapped up our cross country coverage. That kind of puts a bow on things. And there's one thing that I think we need to mention too as we wrap everything up, and that's the amount of games we've did, Zeke. I'm tabulating the numbers here. We've done almost 50 contests, whether you count cross country, volleyball, football, playoffs, regular season. The things that we have covered amount to about 50 events over the course of what really is like 2.5 months of this fall sports season. It goes by in a flash, but it's always some of the most fun to get to cover, because doing high school football games, and especially that you and Tyler got to see at a high level with Staples Motley last year and a lot of the year this year, it's just awesome. And to get to be a part of that, and of course a lot of good volleyball around the area, and to get to follow that. The fall sports season, even though it doesn't last very long, people sure do make the most of it. And it's just awesome to get to see, whether it's from the opening time in the summer where it's 80 degrees and hot to homecoming to now the fall where everybody's got the fall jackets christened and ready to roll and things like that. Or in Zeke's case, not a shirt at all. So there's a lot of things in this fall sports season that are there to like. Do you got any top moment from so far from the fall?
Yeah, talking about temperature-wise, that Barnesville game that Tyler and I did back in week 5, I think, was 84 degrees at kickoff. I'm kind of missing that. Also worth noting, by the way, the Staples Motley Cardinals beat 2 teams in the state tournament this year. They beat DGF and they beat Barnesville. What else? That Pillager game, that Staples Motley Pillager game. When we do our end of the year recap on best games that we covered and top moments, that's going to be on that list, because that was, I mean, I've been calling high school football games for 15 years, and I think number 1 and 2 on that list is Staples Motley versus Barnesville playoffs, double overtime quarterfinals last year, and then number 2 is going to be Staples Motley versus Pillager. I mean, Cardinals were 1 play away from tying that game in a battle of 2 teams tied for the number 2 spot in state, and yeah, that.
And how much does that change the complexion where Pillager would have to go to Holding Ford and Osagus would have to come to Staples Motley? Now, Holding Ford proved they are the best team in the section, and it probably still would have worked out. But if you're the Cardinals, you maybe would have had a chance to go to the Fargo Dome if, the butterfly effect of things like that. But, that's why you play the games, and it's why it's a lot of fun. I mean, there's a lot of moments I could go with throughout the fall, but I think Wadena Deer Creek getting to go back to a Section 8 AA championship game. I know it didn't work out for them the way they wanted to, but the season for them, for year number 1 of head coach Courtney Thunberg taking over for her mom and head coach Sue Volkman, who's she's not in the Hall of Fame, but all somebody really has to do is make the application and she's in. She is a bona fide Hall of Famer head coach. And they graduated a lot of important seniors from a year ago. There still were a lot of important pieces that were back this year from the teams of the last couple, but new head coach, how does this work? How are things going to be different? And it pretty much has been a continuation of what Wadena Deer Creek volleyball has been, which has been excellent. So for them to do that and to roll and to get to a section championship game, and for Peyton Gravel to get into rhythm and be as good as she's been all year at the most important times, and a lot of other players who had taken huge leaps, mentioned it all year long on Wolverines Weekly, but the setter and Ashley Pavick going from kind of stepping in for a season pro to come in as a senior and relearn to be a setter and work on the game that way. And by the end of the year was really into form with her team and obviously helped guide them to a section championship game. Seniors on that team, with her and Jada Dykoff and Kennedy Ness and Tori Malik and some others on that team that really were important. So really just a great year for Wadena Deer Creek volleyball. And there were a couple big ones that win in Roseau going to 5 sets. And of course, that section semifinal game against East Grand Forks in Moorhead to come out with a statement and prove that you were the second best team in the section by handling the Green Wave. A lot of great moments for that volleyball program this season. And congratulations to Coach Thunberg on a very successful year number 1 in getting to the section championship game. And now it's kind of build it on from here and see what happens. So, all right, Zeke, that's going to be our wrap up. I just want to give a thank you to you and to Tyler and to Corey and to Kyle and Tammy, our board op, and Jen in traffic, and our sales staff, and just everybody involved for making this fall sports season a success. Want to thank, first of all, the athletes for making it happen, the coaches for getting them in the right spots, and the ADs for helping coordinate all this and things like that, and letting us show up to their gyms and football fields and letting us in the press boxes and things like that, because they certainly don't have to, and we appreciate that they let us in there. And overall, the parents and fans and everybody following along. It was a fun fall sports season. Couldn't have done it without anybody involved that I just mentioned. And it's awesome to see it all come to fruition. And Zeke, the last cherry on top is that we are going to get ready for the winter sports season now. I'm working this week on developing the schedule, so I'm excited to dig into some of those matchups and some of the things that we are ready to go. But I think this is as good a time as any to say that we are planning on fully sending our broadcast to the World Wide Web as well. We soft launched it at the end of the football and volleyball season, and now we're ready to roll into the regular season of streaming games and our broadcasts over on this very Hubbard Radio-Wadena YouTube page. Stay tuned for more information as the season gets closer. But Zeke, video is where everybody's at, so we got to go there, and it's going to be fun. I'm excited to see what we can do.
Yeah, I got to see you test it out a little bit in some of those late games this season, and it's gonna be awesome. Going to add a whole another level of awesomeness to some pretty awesome broadcasts already.
The amount of times I've told people, hey, did you listen to the broadcast of the game? Because I was doing the game. I knew people were going to be listening. So it's like, hey, how did it sound? Did it sound good? How was the game? And they go, oh, there was a video stream. So we just watched that instead. And it's like, all right, well, that means we have to get a video stream going.
Yep.
So That's exactly what we're going to do. Don't quite know the first official date of that, but plan on it coming.
Yeah. And I know people who they'll pull up the video stream and they'll mute the audio of the other people because they want guys that, follow these kids. I mean, how many generations of Dykhoffs has Corey Tackman called games for at this point? He knows all of them inside and out. He's not some random dude coming to town and mispronouncing names and doing this and that.
Press boxes and
exactly. Yeah. So you can watch the stream, mute the stream, and then have CJ or Corey or Kyle or myself or whoever's doing the game, Tyler, and have people who have covered kids for years and years and years and know parents and are involved in the communities. I think it's going to be a huge boon for our YouTube page.
And you mentioned the Staples Motley stuff, which I'm excited about too, because a lot of times we just, technical issues and things like that. And we just have not been able to get a live stream of the games up for those Cardinal games. And we will now, at the very least, have a video feed so people can pull up from anywhere to listen to you guys do Staples Motley Cardinal games and things like that. So, which is very exciting, and I'm very excited to roll it all out. We're going to have more information as it gets closer, but it's coming, it's happening, and we are excited to make it work. So stay tuned here for more information. And as always, follow Sports Cow on Facebook.
Moo. I got to bounce. My heater guy is calling me. Our heater is out.
Guy is here. All right. See,
he's here.
One sentence on the Vikings, then get out.
I about pooped my pants when JJ McCarthy dropped back to pass on 3rd and 5 with the game on the line. And I don't know why I ever doubted him. He's the greatest Vikings quarterback we've had all season.
Yep. All right. Perfect. Get out of here, Zeke.
Yep. I'm going to go fix my heater.
There he goes. Just like Zeke going to fix his heater, JJ McCarthy fixing the Minnesota Vikings season back. The Vikings are back. Never doubted them for a moment. I certainly wasn't thinking, great, the Twins are bad, the Gophers, the Wild, the Wolves didn't get off to a great start. Anthony Edwards is hurt, and the Vikings just, tanking. What am I supposed to do for sports to get some kind of good competitive games on my television? And then rolling up into town at the last second is the man, the myth, the legend. You know him, you love him. It's JJ McCarthy coming in and saving the Minnesota Vikings season at the very last second. How we feeling? Ah, man. Love it. Love it. We are back. Minnesota Vikings football is back. It is game on. And I think we always kind of knew that it was going to reset with JJ McCarthy coming back in at quarterback of this football team and coming back in. And, he had his first couple starts, but now he had the time off. And now it's like, okay, even if the Vikings aren't going to make the playoffs, and certainly that's not a guarantee, and even after yesterday's win against the Detroit Lions, but it is to say that everything kind of feels like it's back on. And it feels like JJ McCarthy had a chance to come in and kind of be the sole focus of this season is about developing JJ. And maybe these losses mean that the expectations can get turned down a little bit so you can give JJ McCarthy the room to grow. And I think as we've learned now with Kevin O'Connell, whether it's been with Kirk Cousins, Josh Dobbs, Nick Mullins, Jaron Hall, Sam Darnold, Carson Wentz, and like 3 snaps of Max Brosmer, whoever his quarterback is, he is putting the entirety of the offense on that person. If you're Kevin O'Connell's quarterback, you are going to make throws for better or worse. And there was a time at the end of the game where the Vikings could have ran 3 times, kicked the field goal, took 2 minutes off the clock, given the ball to Detroit with down 2 scores under 2 minutes to go, or maybe over 2 minutes, but no timeouts. And the Vikings, all they'd have to do is recover an onside kick and win the game. But no, the Lions score a quick touchdown. They come back, and then it's 3rd and 5. Detroit has 1 timeout. If they stop you, They get the ball back with a chance to, kick the field goal to go to overtime, touchdown for the win. And Kevin O'Connell could have ran it once, made Detroit burn the timeout, and punted. And a lot of coaches would have done that. The Vikings' previous head coach and Mike Zimmer would have definitely done that. But no, Kevin O'Connell puts it in the hands of the quarterback in J.J. McCarthy to make a throw. You get man coverage. Jalen Naylor with a comeback route. Beautiful throw. Maybe the best throw of the day for J.J. McCarthy came at the most important time. And it iced the game. The Vikings upset Detroit. They win in Detroit for the first time since 2020. First time with fans in the building since 2019. First time in Detroit since Jared Goff is the starting quarterback. First time in Detroit since Kevin O'Connell has been the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. Huge win. Huge win that gets them back to 4-4. The Lions now lose. The Packers lost to the Panthers yesterday. Oh, that just a great mix. The Bears won, but it was against the Bengals, and all their wins have been kind of fraudulent. They're not bad, but they're not great. They're kind of hovering in that purgatory as well. And this allows kind of the division to be reset. All four teams in the division can look and go, why not us? Why not now? The Vikings are 2-0 in the division, both on the road. J.J. McCarthy has more road wins and more wins overall in the NFC North than Caleb Williams does. Take that. And it just feels like everything is going in the right direction. The defense should get credit for how they played. They got pressure on Jared Goff. They picked on the middle of the Detroit Lions offensive line. They gave up some big plays here and there, but overall they got pressure. And what does every defensive mind tell you rattles a quarterback as good as Jared Goff? Pressure, pressure, pressure. And Goff didn't have a great game, and in part was because he was getting smacked all of the time. And that all kind of wraps around into, that was a lot of great in that game. The field goal unit in Will Reichard, money from 50 yards. The field goal block by Levi Drake Rodriguez, and running it back Isaiah Rodgers to get the Vikings in prime field position to, I think they kicked the field goal on that one, but either way, put them up 2 scores. The Vikings win by 3 points, and they blocked the field goal. So that kind of tells you how important that play was in the overall grand scheme of the game. So it's huge. Now that we said all the good, let's take a step back on the bad, because the field goal block and the field goals were good. The punt game was generally good. Miles Price gets a kickoff return touchdown called back because of holding. The Vikings then on a punt, that could have pinned Detroit back inside their own 20, get a bad penalty from the Vikings punt unit because the gunner ran out of bounds and kept running out of bounds, and just a mind-numbingly dumb play. It's not even like, he got caught out and for a couple yards and maybe just kind of forgot too late. The guy ran like 15 yards out of bounds. That just can't happen if you're a gunner. It's like the number one thing you're supposed to do. Get right back in bounds and run. He just kept running, which is illegal. And it gave Detroit good field position on a drive where the Vikings could have pinned him back. They eventually score on that one, I believe. Or maybe it sets up the field goal block. Doesn't really matter in the sense of, like, you can't have those penalties. Miles Price has been a great kick returner for the Minnesota Vikings, and nobody cares because every good return he gets is because of holding. Or every good return he gets called back because of holding. And some people could go, is that because the holding made the good returns? No, a lot of times you look on these returns and you didn't even need to hold, my guy. He was going to rip off a big run regardless. And so Miles Price has been a good punt. He's been a reliable punt returner. He's been a very fun and good kick returner, and we haven't been able as Vikings fans to appreciate it because his runs keep getting called back and getting rid of the flow and the things like that. On offense, McCarthy had some good moments. There were some bad ones, of course. He has a tendency, as we talked about at the beginning of the year and all through training camp, to just rifle footballs in there. He doesn't have the touch quite yet. You saw that on a few throws, still needing the touch. The accuracy still needs a little bit of work, but made a throw when the game mattered that was perfect, and the Vikings won. The interception was bad. It was a ball that he threw behind him, and Terry and Arnold made a great play to pick the ball off. And I will say, I don't know how that stood as an interception. I don't know how it was a catch. I don't know how, if it was a catch, how Jalen Naylor didn't hang on to it because Ty goes to the receiver. I don't understand how Justin Jefferson diving for a ball and getting his arms underneath to cradle it somehow hit the turf. I don't understand how every 50-50 call the Vikings have lost on replay this year, but whatever. McCarthy still made enough plays to win. The Vikings defense, they gave up some big plays. Their tackling, especially in the open field for DBs, is not great. I guarantee you teams are going to pick on that for the Vikings and throw bubble screens and try and make the Vikings have to tackle in space because they have not been good at it. But Andrew Van Ginkel coming back was huge for this team. Blake Cashman caused a big turnover to get the Vikings a scoring drive. And when you look at all this, you say the Vikings went on the road into a tough environment in Detroit, a Detroit team coming off of a bye week, and stunned them. And the Vikings didn't even play that good of a game. And so I think you could look at all that back and say, it's not like the Vikings needed every ounce to get everything to go right for them to win. A lot of things went wrong, and they still found a way to win and outplay the Detroit Lions. And it just goes to show you that there is still more that the Vikings can pull out of this. And this isn't to say that J.J. McCarthy is going to have a great game every single week the rest of the season. He's going to have some stinkers because he's a rookie for all intensive purposes quarterback. But this is a game where the Vikings can look, and this team can look, and the fan base can look and say, gentlemen, we got ourselves a quarterback. And just imagine how Max Brosmer is. Imagine how good he is. And I like Brosmer, I do. But there are a lot of people going, some of you Gopher folk out there, well, Brosmer is so good, they don't want to make McCarthy look bad. Guys, if he was like good, like Brock Purdy good, they just would have played him. But also, J.J. McCarthy's a top 10 overall draft pick who is a good quarterback with a lot of traits and a lot of leadership traits that are good, and you got to let him work through the development. But this is a good win, and just a thing to say, this team is still good. Shocking when everything gets healthy and the quarterback's there and things like that. This team can be really good. So all of this is to say, this does not mean the Vikings are perfect and are going to go undefeated the rest of the year and run the table and things like that. There are still going to be some clunkers. This team is still flawed. But the division is flawed. The Lions are flawed. The Packers, Jordan Love is flawed. He's good, but he's flawed. When he's great, he's great. When he's bad, he's bad. So there's a lot of things in there that the Bears I'm not scared of. The division is up for grabs. The playoff spot is up for grabs. There's a lot of things that are up for grabs. Not that it's guaranteed for the Vikings, but you gave yourselves a chance, because if you lose that game, pack it up. The season's over. So, all right, that's going to do it for me. I am out of here. I will see you later. This is the Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.